What if I told you that one of the snowiest cities in America isn't in Alaska or New York, but sits directly next to a desert that can melt your car's headlights? What if millions of gallons of water are currently frozen inside underground volcanic tubes right beneath a landscape where people are passing out from heat stroke? There's a place in North America where an extraterrestrial impact crater is so perfect NASA used it to train for the moon, where glowing rivers of lava once set entire mountain ranges on fire, and where ancient forests have turned completely into solid gemstone. Why did NASA send the first men who walked on the moon to a desert in the American Southwest? Why are there thousands of massive trees scattered across a dry wasteland that are entirely made of solid amethyst and quartz? And how can an ocean reef ecosystem exist thousands of feet above sea level in a place with zero rainfall? We've been lied to about what Arizona actually looks like. This is not just a desert, it is an alien world hiding on Earth. Here are 30 reasons it's completely unlike anywhere else on the planet. It is a 2-billion-year-old time machine. The Grand Canyon exposes nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history in its layered bands of rock. That is roughly half the age of the planet itself. As you look down into the canyon floor, you are looking at basement rocks that existed before complex life was even a spark in the primeval oceans. No photograph can capture its true scale. It is a mile-deep wound in the skin of the planet. It features a subterranean world of ghost sinkholes. While Arizona is famous for its towering red rocks, one of its strangest geological features is completely invisible from the surface until the ground suddenly swallows itself. The science of karst collapse. Beneath the desert sand and sandstone of regions like Sedona and the Verde Valley lies the Red Wall limestone, a massive 300-million-year-old rock layer born from ancient, long-vanished oceans. Over millions of years, acidic groundwater slowly ate away at this limestone, dissolving it to create a Swiss cheese network of massive subterranean caverns. As these underground voids grew too large, the immense weight of the sandstone layers above them lost their support. The result is a geological phenomenon known as karst topography, landscape shaped by dissolving rock, which triggers massive, sudden cover collapse sinkholes. Iconic sites like Sedona's Devil's Kitchen or the water-filled Montezuma Well are actually structural ceilings that completely gave out, opening a direct window into the Earth's plumbing system. Its ancient forests are made of solid stone. In the northeastern part of the state lies the petrified forest. Thousands of massive tree trunks lie scattered across the bare desert floor, but if you touch them, they don't splinter or rot, they gleam. Over 200 million years ago, these fallen logs were buried under layers of volcanic ash and water. Molecule by molecule, the organic wood dissolved and was replaced by silica minerals like quartz, jasper, and amethyst. They are quite literally trees made of precious gemstones. NASA used it to simulate the moon. The terrain of Meteor Crater and the surrounding volcanic fields is so accurate to extraterrestrial landscapes that NASA sent the Apollo astronauts here in the 1960s and 70s. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and others walked the volcanic ash fields in full spacesuits. They tested lunar rovers and learned to collect geological samples in Arizona because the ground felt exactly like the moon. To this day, NASA still uses the northern Arizona deserts to test next-generation Mars and Moon rovers. It simmers with active volcanoes. People forget that Arizona is a volcanic powder keg. The San Francisco volcanic field covers over 1,800 square miles and contains hundreds of volcanic vents, cones, and deep lava tubes. Its youngest volcano, Sunset Crater, erupted just 1,000 years ago. The indigenous people witnessed the sky turn black and rivers of fire consume the valleys. Today, The jagged black ash fields look exactly as they did back then, as if the world ended just yesterday. There is a frozen world beneath the scorching dirt. Even when the surface temperature tops 110 degrees Fahrenheit, you can freeze to death in Arizona. Inside the subterranean lava tubes and ice caves near Flagstaff, a unique microclimate exists. Heavy, cold winter air sinks into these underground chambers and becomes trapped. Water that seeps into the caves during winter freezes and never melts. You can hike through a bone-dry desert, descend a makeshift ladder into the dark, and stand face-to-face with walls of solid, ancient ice. Think about that for a second. You can stand on solid, permanent ice while the ground directly above your head is hot enough to fry an egg. Nature simply does not make sense in this state. If you love discovering places on Earth that look like entirely different planets, hit that subscribe button right now. We unlock hidden geographic anomalies like this every single week. It holds the largest continuous ponderosa pine forest on Earth. When people think of Arizona, they picture sand dunes and saguaro cacti. They don't picture an unbroken sea of green. But running across the heart of the state is the Mogollon Rim, which supports the largest contiguous belt of ponderosa pine trees on the planet. This massive, high-altitude forest stretches for hundreds of miles, completely shattering the myth that Arizona is nothing but barren wasteland. The desert snows more than most of Europe. Flagstaff, Arizona sits at an elevation of 7,000 feet at the base of the volcanic peaks. It receives an average of over 100 inches of snow per year. That makes it one of the snowiest incorporated cities in the entire United States, regularly beating out places like Chicago, Denver, and Boston. You can surf the sand dunes in the morning and ski down a volcanic peak by the afternoon. It has a wave made of solid sandstone. Deep within the Paria Canyon Vermilion Cliffs wilderness lies the Wave, an otherworldly intersection of undulating troughs carved into Jurassic Age Navajo sandstone. The rock is swirled in vibrant bands of orange, pink, and red, resembling a fluid, frozen ocean wave. It is so fragile and highly sought after that the US government restricts access to a tiny, exclusive lottery system. It feels less like an Earth landscape and more like a canvas painted by a cosmic artist. It houses the deepest underground hotel room on Earth. Located 220 feet below the surface inside the Grand Canyon Caverns is a single, isolated hotel suite. It sits inside a massive cavern formed over 65 million years ago. The room is completely dark, entirely silent, and devoid of any living organisms because there is zero humidity or natural light. The air is filtered naturally through miles of limestone, making it one of the cleanest, quietest, and most eerie places a human can sleep. A London bridge was rebuilt in the middle of the desert. In the 1960s, the City of London was forced to sell its famous 1831 London Bridge because it was literally sinking into the River Thames under modern traffic. An eccentric American oil tycoon bought it for $2.4 million. He had the bridge meticulously dismantled, block by block, shipped through the Panama Canal, and trucked into the remote desert of Arizona. It was reassembled in Lake Havasu City, where it still stands today over an artificial channel, a piece of British history baking in the desert sun. The sun can literally melt your car. The capital city of Phoenix regularly experiences summer temperatures exceeding 115 degrees Fahrenheit, sometimes hitting 122 degrees Fahrenheit. At these temperatures, the physical infrastructure of modern life begins to fail. Streetlights can warp and melt. Plastic car parts deform. Cookies can be baked to completion on a car dashboard in under an hour. It is an environment where stepping onto bare asphalt barefoot can result in third-degree burns in seconds. The cliffhanger of the Superstition Mountains. Rising abruptly east of Phoenix are the jagged, ominous peaks of the Superstition Mountains. The range is shrouded in violent history and supernatural lore. According to legend, Apache spirits guard the mountains, which are said to hold the Lost Dutchman's gold mine, a legendary, fabulously wealthy hidden treasure. Over the last century, hundreds of adventurers have gone searching for it. Dozens have disappeared, walked out completely empty-handed, or turned up dead with unexplained injuries, fueling the mountain's terrifying reputation. The Grand Canyon was created by a single, persistent river. The sheer immensity of the Grand Canyon makes it look like the work of a global cataclysm or a shifting tectonic plate, but it wasn't. It was carved almost entirely by the Colorado River over a span of roughly 5 to 6 million years. The river acted like a slow, relentless jigsaw, slicing through the rising Colorado Plateau. It is the ultimate testament to the power of water over stone. It contains a town built entirely inside a volcanic caldera. The town of Flagstaff and the surrounding mountain communities live under the shadow of the San Francisco peaks. These peaks are actually the remnants of a single, colossal stratovolcano that collapsed in an explosive eruption millions of years ago. The valley below is the ancient interior of the volcano. The residents are living, working, and sleeping inside the belly of a sleeping giant. The Sky Islands rise like tectonic arcs. In southeastern Arizona, the desert floor is interrupted by isolated, sheer mountain ranges known as Sky Islands. These mountains rise up to 10,000 feet straight out of the desert scrub. Because the desert below acts as an impassable barrier for species adapted to the cold, these mountaintops have become isolated biological sanctuaries. They hold completely unique ecosystems, where black bears and jaguars occupy the same geographic region. It has the deadliest scorpions in North America. Arizona is home to the Arizona bark scorpion, the most venomous scorpion on the continent. Unlike other scorpions that hide under rocks, the bark scorpion is an expert climber, capable of walking upside down on ceilings and entering homes through tiny cracks. Its sting causes excruciating pain, numbness, and severe systemic reactions. More unsettling, they are completely nocturnal and glow an eerie, neon green under ultraviolet black light. It holds the majestic, hidden blue waterfalls of Havasupai. Deep inside a remote paradox of the Grand Canyon lies Havasu Falls. The water here doesn't look real. It flows with a brilliant, intense turquoise blue color. This surreal hue is caused by extremely high concentrations of dissolved calcium carbonate and magnesium in the spring water. As the water flows, it deposits lime carbonate, building natural travertine dams that contrast vividly against the deep red canyon walls. Lightning strikes it tens of thousands of times in a single month. During the summer, Arizona experiences the North American monsoon. The intense heat causes winds to shift, pulling vast amounts of moisture from the Pacific Ocean and Gulf of California into the desert. This results in violent, apocalyptic afternoon thunderstorms. The dry air causes massive cloud-to-ground lightning displays, striking the desert floor tens of thousands of times and triggering sweeping dust storms known as haboobs. A massive undersea empire used to be here. If you look at the limestone walls of the Grand Canyon and the southern cliffs of Arizona, they are packed with marine fossils. Crinoids, brachiopods, coral reefs, and shark teeth are embedded in the rock. Hundreds of millions of years ago, Arizona sat near the equator and was completely submerged beneath a warm, shallow tropical sea. The dry desert dust you walk on today is composed of the crushed skeletons of ancient marine life. It has an unmapped underground labyrinth of caves. Beneath the rolling hills of southern Arizona lies Kartchner Caverns. Discovered in secret by two cavers in 1974, this massive underground cave system was kept a complete secret from the public for 14 years to protect it from destruction. It is a live cave, meaning the stalactites and stalagmites are still actively growing from dripping water. It features some of the longest, most delicate soda straw formations on Earth, hidden away in total, humid darkness. Sedona's rocks glow because they are rusted. The world-famous red rocks of Sedona attract millions of visitors a year, but their vibrant crimson colour is the result of a chemical reaction. The sandstone layers contain high amounts of iron oxide. Over millions of years, exposure to water and oxygen caused the iron to literally rust. The stunning red spires, monoliths, and canyons are quite literally a monument to a continental-scale oxidation event. It houses a biosphere that tried to recreate the Earth. In the desert north of Tucson sits Biosphere 2, the largest closed ecological system ever built. Constructed in the late 1980s, this massive glass and steel structure was designed to see if humans could survive in a sealed environment for space colonization. It contained a miniature rainforest, a mangrove wetland, a savanna, a desert, and even a miniature ocean with a living coral reef. The original missions famously spiraled into chaos as oxygen levels mysteriously plummeted, invasive ants ran rampant, and the human crew divided into warring factions. It is home to the real-life tombstone and the OK Corral. Arizona holds the raw, unedited history of the American Wild West. The town of Tombstone still exists exactly where it was founded during a silver boom in the late 1800s. It was the site of the most famous gunfight in American history, the gunfight at the OK Corral, involving Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. The dry desert air has preserved the wooden boardwalks, saloons, and bullet-riddled buildings, keeping the lawless era frozen in time. It is the only state that contains all four North American deserts. North America has four distinct geographic deserts: the Mojave, the Great Basin, the Chihuahuan, and the Sonoran. Arizona is the only state in the entire country that contains portions of all four of them within its borders. This creates a wildly diverse environmental landscape where the plant life, soil composition, and weather patterns shift dramatically every few hours as you drive across the state. The Antelope Canyon was carved by flash floods, not wind. The smooth, swirling, sand-colored walls of Antelope Canyon are world-famous, but they are incredibly dangerous. This slot canyon was carved out over millennia primarily by flash flooding. During monsoon season, rain falling miles away channels into these narrow cracks in the sandstone, turning into a high-speed torrent of water and debris that acts like sandpaper. The floods are so sudden that visitors can be trapped in a wall of water within minutes without a single cloud in the immediate sky. It refuses to participate in daylight saving time. While almost the entire United States shifts its clocks forward and backward every year, Arizona refuses to do so. Aside from the Navajo Nation within its borders, the state stays on Mountain Standard Time all year round. The reason is entirely practical. During the brutal summer heat, residents want the sun to set as early as possible so the temperature drops. Adding an extra hour of evening sunlight would only prolong the grueling daytime heat. The red wall limestone of the canyon is actually grey. One of the most prominent layers of the Grand Canyon is the massive 800-foot tall red wall limestone cliff. But if you break a piece of the rock open, the inside is completely grey. The rock appears red only on the outside surface because iron-rich runoff from the upper layers of shale and sandstone has dripped down over millennia, staining the face of the grey limestone cliff like a giant coat of rust. It holds a lake that sits inside a sunken volcanic pit. Deep in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forests sits Crater Lake, not to be confused with the one in Oregon. This small, perfectly round lake sits inside a volcanic maar, a low-relief volcanic crater formed by an explosive eruption caused when groundwater came into contact with hot magma. The result is a deep, eerie body of water trapped inside a perfect geometric pit, surrounded by thick forest, hidden away from the desert below. The entire state is still moving upward. The tectonic elevator. Between 70 and 40 million years ago, a tectonic plate subducted underneath North America at a very shallow angle. Instead of crumpling the crust into jagged alpine ridges like the Rocky Mountains, it pushed a massive, intact 337,000 square kilometer block smoothly upward by nearly 2 kilometers, 6,000 to 7,000 feet. This created the Colorado Plateau. Because the plateau was lifted so high into the upper atmosphere, it completely altered the wind patterns of the western US, creating a giant rain shadow that dried out the lowlands while forcing the high-altitude peaks to trap massive amounts of winter snow. This lift is what allowed the Colorado River to cut down so deeply, meaning Arizona is still actively rising above the surrounding continent. Final closing. Arizona is not just a desert, it is an ancient seabed, a volcanic minefield, a cosmic training ground, a landscape of gemstone forests and subterranean ice. It is one of the most geologically volatile, visually arresting, and misunderstood places on Earth, hiding in plain sight. Be honest down in the comments. Would you rather survive a 122 degrees Fahrenheit summer day in the Valley of Phoenix, or spend a night completely alone in the pitch-black, 220-foot deep, silent cavern of the Grand Canyon Hotel Suite? Choose your nightmare. Dozens of people have literally died or vanished looking for the lost Dutchman's gold mine in the Superstition Mountains. Do you think the treasure is actually real? Or is it a calculated myth designed to keep people away from something else hidden in those peaks? Let me know your theories below. If this journey completely shattered your idea of what a desert is, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Don't let the algorithm hide the rest of the world from you. See you in the next anomaly.